You know that feeling when your body's upright, but your soul is face down somewhere far away? Like the lights are technically on, but emotionally, you're curled up in the shower, fully clothed, eating cold pizza, and questioning the very fabric of reality? Yeah, this is for you. Because right now, you don't need a motivational speech, you just want to know you're not alone in this foggy, heavy cloud of absolutely not today. So let's get one thing straight, I'm not here to tell you to hustle. There's no bullet journal, number 6 a.m. yoga, and definitely no kale smoothie involved. I'm not here to guilt trip you with productivity tips or sunrise routines. I'm here in the same boat, probably wearing mismatched socks, possibly unstable, but honest. Let's talk about those days. The ones that aren't tragic, just drained. Where the simple act of replying, haha, to a message feels like a Herculean task. Where brushing your teeth is basically a TED Talk on perseverance. You're not lazy, and you're not broken, you're tired. And you've been carrying so much, silently. The self-doubt, the expectations, the endless mental tabs open in your brain, and that nagging little voice whispering, "You should be doing more." That voice? It's lying. You don't need to do more. You need to feel safe enough to move again. And that starts with being kinder to yourself, especially when you feel stuck. Think about it. Would you ever yell at a plant for not growing fast enough? "Hey, you leafy little slacker, where's the progress?" Of course not. But we say that to ourselves all the time. Sometimes we're not in bloom. We're just surviving the weather. And that quiet survival, is still growth. Still sacred. Still real. Let me tell you a story. Not some myth, just something human. A man carried 2 buckets to water his garden each morning. One was perfect. The other was cracked. By the time he got home, the cracked bucket had lost half its water. It felt broken. Useless. One day, it apologized, asking, "Why do you keep using me?" The man smiled and said, "Haven't you noticed the flowers growing along your side of the path?" Turns out, the cracks had been watering beauty all along. That's you? On the days you feel cracked, when you only check one thing off your list, or nothing at all, you're still showing up. You still matter. Maybe not for the whole world, but for your pet, or a stranger you smiled at, or even just yourself. That counts. So let's throw out the productivity checklist. You don't need to earn your worth. You are not a machine. You're a human being, a soft, complex, beautifully messy miracle trying to survive capitalism, Wi-Fi issues, and the daily existential dread. No wonder you're tired. And if your brain's saying, "Okay, cool story, but I still feel like garbage and my room looks like an emotional crime scene," great. Start there. Don't shoot for a comeback montage. Start small. Pick up one sock. Or just touch it. That's the bar. Olympic gold medal in. Touched a sock. Achieved. Maybe then, drink a glass of water. Or switch your socks. Trick your brain into thinking you're a new person. It sounds silly, but momentum often begins with something laughably small. When my life felt like a total wreck, you know what I did first? Rearranged my spoons. Didn't need to. But I needed one thing I couldn't fail at. That led to dishes. Then laundry. Then life. Here's the secret. You don't wait until you feel better to take action. You take action, and slowly, feeling follows. Not instantly. Not like a dramatic movie scene. More like a flicker. A soft breath. A gentle shift from, "I can't," to, "Maybe I can." Start stupidly small. Wipe a crumb. That's progress. That's movement. Everyone's waiting for motivation like it's a package. I'll start when I feel ready. But motivation isn't delivery. It's a side effect. It shows up after you take the first step, not before. You won't think your way out of this hole. You'll climb, awkwardly, slowly, one tiny, weird brick at a time. The first brick isn't purpose. It's permission. Permission to begin badly. One spoon in the sink. One avoided email sent. One foot on the floor. Even when your spark is dim, when your voice shakes, When you feel like a ghost of who you used to be, you still deserve care. You still deserve peace. Especially then. You don't stop being worthy just because you stopped being productive. The way you speak to yourself when you're struggling? That's your real character. That's you. Not the polished version with trophies and folders and plans. The one that says, "It's okay. We'll get through this." That's the one who builds your next chapter. Can you love that version of you? The one curled under a blanket, surrounded by crumbs and regrets, and still say, "I believe in you." Can you look in the mirror, no filters, no fake affirmations, and say, "You're still worth showing up for"? That's not self-help. That's survival. Maybe you were raised to believe that love is earned, that rest is lazy, that slowing down means falling behind. Maybe you learned that softness is weakness. But that's not truth. That's programming. Rest is not failure. It's not even a pause. It's a reset. A rebellion. It's how you remember your own voice beneath the noise. Rest says, "I don't have to move fast to be worthy of moving at all." And listen, even on days when the fog doesn't lift, when everything feels off, when your brain is chaos, you haven't failed. You're not broken. You're human. The goal isn't to feel good all the time. The goal is to stay close to yourself. To not abandon who you are just because the day feels hard. So if today's rough, let it be. But don't let it be hopeless. You've survived 100% of your worst days. That's a perfect track record. You're not behind. You're not a broken version of a more successful person. You're right on time. Maybe your story isn't loud. Maybe it's quiet and lowercase. That doesn't make it less meaningful. That makes it real. You don't have to become your best self today. You just have to not give up on the one who's already here. Meet yourself where you are, tired, unshowered, unsure, and still trying. You don't have to move mountains. Just stretch a finger toward the light. That's enough. That's everything. So sit up. Or don't. Roll to the other side.